everyone, my name is Ebony. This is my first video on the channel. I'm pretty much just going to be talking about like the usual. Everything is called New Age, but it's not really New Age. It's all the old ancient knowledge that we're just getting back to and starting to remember. There's a lot going on. I'm right next to a highway, so excuse the noise in the background. But for this first video, I'm going to be talking about how to raise your vibration. And everyone talks about like vibrations nowadays because it's real, because everything around you is made out of atoms that are vibrating, and the level that they vibrate at depends on which frequency they're on. Kind of like a radio station, how you have to tune in to a certain radio station, which is a frequency, to get the right, audio that you're trying to listen to. Same with like TV channels and stuff like that. Everything is waves. From everything you see right now is coming from a light wave. Like for instance, my skin is reflecting brown because of the melanin in my skin. So that all comes from light waves as well. So there's light waves, radio waves, energetic waves, electromagnetic waves. The type of waves that we're going to be talking about today is the electromagnetic wave that kind of goes from within our bodies to outside of our bodies as well. And that's called your aura. That's your vibration and everything like that. So when you hear these terms kind of thrown around, it's all just talking about the vibration that your soul or your consciousness is vibrating at. So with all this, I'm probably asking like how to raise your vibration. And to those who are familiar with it, you already know, simple methods, but this is for like the people that are just getting into, spirituality, metaphysics and things like that. How to really raise your vibration. One of the first things I would say is meditation. Meditation. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm this religion, I can't meditate. Like every religion can meditate, because meditation is not specific to a religion or a practice. It's not good or bad, it's just meditation. And if you think about it, every religion has some form of meditation in there. Like religions where you pray to God, that's meditation. I mean, it's a different form of meditation where you're speaking to the higher up or the power that be that you believe in. And meditation is more like listening to that power from within, because it's going to give you messages, but it's from within. Everything you need is from within you and not external and without you. So meditation, and a lot of misconceptions about meditation is that you have to clear your mind, you have to sit somewhere calm. You don't really have to get into any place or specific thing to really meditate. I had a friend that actually just meditated whenever he wanted to, like whenever we were just out and about or chilling or something, he just chill, zone out, and go into his head and just meditate for a little bit. And that's what he needed to kind of like stay afloat. But meditation is more like not clearing your mind, but just listening to your mind and like learning about yourself and listening to your subconscious. So when you meditate, you're worried about like, oh, I can't clear my mind. Don't try to force your thoughts away. Kind of just act like your thoughts are clouds in the sky. You're just kind of watching them go by like, wow, that's a thought. And you're not your thoughts. Your thoughts can become reality, which, sometimes people get that misconstrued with your thoughts are your reality. That's not exactly what that means. But your thoughts can become your reality if you put too much energy into it. So once you put, the thoughts that you put energy into can manifest. And the thoughts that you just disregard can just go on. Because a lot of people have like intrusive thoughts and stuff like that. So telling somebody that has intrusive thoughts that they are their thoughts or their thoughts are going to become a reality, that's kind of like, well, you about to make someone go off the hinges or off their rocker right now. So the thoughts that you give energy to become your reality, and your perception is your reality. Because if you think about it, your brain is by itself inside of a body and has to rely on making out the outside world from outside stimuli like touch and hearing and seeing and smelling and things like that. So one sense that they call like the sixth sense is your sense of energy, like your energy sense, if that makes sense. But okay, sorry, I had a neighbor come out. But anyway, back to what we were talking about. With energy, like your sixth sense is a sense, and it's pretty much like your ability to pick up on energy changes around you within the air, within just any medium really, because our eyes only take in part of the spectrum that is like waves. Like there's gamma rays, there's X-ray, there's UV vision and all that stuff, and we only can see from pretty much the rainbow spectrum. So with us only being able to see like the waves that are within the rainbow, there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we can't see that's around us. So sometimes that might scare some people, and sometimes that just might, excite some people. Like, I love the fact that, sometimes it seems a little creepy. Sometimes that if you think about on a different plane of existence, there could be someone standing right next to you on a different plane of existence. And that's why it's essential to kind of like build up your sense of awareness to sense those types of things when there's good energy around you or bad energy, whether you can see it or not. So, now another way you can change your vibration or raise your vibration is by changing your diet. I like to call it sun foods, like foods that just taste like they got their energy straight from the sun, like plants and fruit anyway, because you're really getting that energy straight from the sun. That energy is going into your body, going through the whole mitochondria in your cells and stuff like that to transfer into ATP, which is pretty much electric energy that powers your body and not makes it so we don't have to be plugged into a wall to be able to function, basically. So with that being said, like, our muscles have more ATP in them than the rest of our cells do because your muscles move around a lot. I'm not even, I'm moving around right now, so all my ATP is making me able to move around like that because that energy that's the electrical impulses that go between your synapses and your nerve cells and your neurons and things like that. But eating foods that don't have any like preservatives in them, because preservatives just aren't, if the bacteria isn't eating it, it's a bad thing. Because bacteria lives in your body, it eats your shit. Like, if it's eating your shit but not eating some like McDonald's burger with preservatives in it, that should tell you something. So I would say eating raw foods is like our best bet. I know some people argue that like, oh, you can't get all your nutrition from raw foods and everything. Earth gives you everything you need. Like, there's plants with protein in it, and there's plants with more calcium in it than milk. And then on top of that, anything dairy-wise is just not good for you in general because milk builds up more acidity in your body, which leads to more mucus in your body, which leads to more disease. And if you break down disease, it's dis-ease. You've probably heard that a lot around the spiritual community because that's what it is. It dis-eases you. You're not at ease when you're at dis-ease. So milk, whole grains. The whole grain thing was like a whole scam back in like the 80s because they overproduced too many crops and they had to get that shit out there basically. So the whole grain thing is a scam because your body can't fully digest unrefined grains. Not saying that white rice is better than brown rice. Brown rice is definitely more healthy. But I'm saying like those cereals and commercials about whole grains this and the food pyramid, you should have more grains in your diet than anything. That's not true at all. You should have more fruits and vegetables in your diet than the other stuff. I'm not saying stop eating whatever you're eating. I'm just saying cut back on if you like packaged foods at all and quick food, because I like quick food. I be lazy. So, but like that's not really good for you. And then on top of that, I eat out a lot, which I'm very self-aware of the stuff that I don't do that I should be doing. So I eat out a lot sometimes, or like when I don't feel like cooking or we don't have the groceries pretty much, I just do DoorDash. And that's not good because you don't know where they're getting their food from. Like, this could be lab-grown meat that was just in the grocery store and they just go to a grocery store and get their food supply, or even worse, they just probably get it in bulk somewhere, which a lot of times it's kind of like a here and there thing with like bulk food, because yes, it saves you a lot of money, but if you think about it, like if you're getting it in bulk, more than likely it's genetically modified and enough for them to be constantly being pushed out, basically. Like, for instance, we just got a Sam's Club subscription not too long ago, and when I say we, my boyfriend and I, we got a Sam's Club subscription, and we noticed that there's a lot of food there that says bioengineered. There's seedless lemons, seedless limes, seedless watermelons, and all this stuff. And it's like, this is all genetically modified, which is not good. But or made in a lab. Like, we just found out there's a lot of labs that are pretty much getting the okay from the USDA and the FDA about having lab-grown meat. So we already know the slippery slope that could take with like just lab-grown meat being churned out really fast for profit, but not really thinking about the health ramifications. So it's all about the diet. There's a lot of benefits of fasting as well, like giving your body just a break to kind of get it back together, because the more you fast, if you go more than, I believe, 12 hours, your body starts to build up ketones, and ketones are the enzymes that attack the free radicals and the toxins in your cells and things like that. And then on top of that, the fasting will actually cleanse your body's sewer system, which is basically the lymphatic system. So have you heard of like, oh, you got to check your lymph nodes? There's some around here, or like when people have surgeries, they drain their lymph nodes. Your lymph nodes is like the septic system of your body. It sounds pretty gross, but it's like that's your drainage system, and that's where everything has to leave throughout the mucus that's in those lymphatic systems. So another way is your sensory diet. So your diet doesn't always pertain to just your food and your like drinking water and all this, but your sensory diet as well. Where you're around, people you're around, and the things that you do. So for instance, if you're doom scrolling all day on like Instagram, TikTok, whatever, Twitter is the worst right now. I just got back into Twitter. I never really was a Twitter person, but I just tried to get into it for a little bit. And it's really like, I don't know, it's just opinion haven. I mean, the entire internet is, but like, I believe Twitter is probably the worst with it, because it's just misinformed everything. But I like Threads, by the way. Threads is like the hippies version of Twitter, so Threads is cool. I don't get on Instagram too much anymore, except for like promo, but that's about it. But like when you do, like, there's nothing wrong with social media. You have to tailor your algorithm to getting what you want, though. Like, for instance, there was a trend on Threads where it was like, hey, algorithm, I want to connect with these types of people. And it was like tarot readers, artists, and spiritual people, life coaches, and things like that. So I tried that, and that actually worked. I got like maybe 200 plus followers or so, just spiritual people. And I was like, this is going to be an enjoyable experience, pretty much. There's also kind of just like even on like YouTube and TV and everything, when you're getting spewed like kind of BS over and over, you can take that in, and then like that energy, you're kind of consenting to that energy bothering you. So when you scroll through things and then realize like, why do I feel like this? It's because you've been doom scrolling, and then you've been just on a screen where it's emitting blue light to you and damaging your third eye, your pineal gland, but also not letting you actually live in the real world, like touch some grass. Like that's where that meme pretty much came from, where tell people online like, how about you just go outside and touch some grass? Like, you're in front of a screen too long, it can do some damage to your whole nervous system, but also your spiritual nervous system as well. Outside of that, like that's your sensory diet and everything, like taking in things that make you taking in things that make you think and all of that, but also getting rid of people that don't make your soul feel happy. This past, like, I moved to Atlanta probably May of 2021, and since then, been through like 3 different lifestyles in Atlanta. And as of recently, I've been cutting off a lot of people. I mean, not really recently, but throughout this year, it's been like cutting off people back to back that I used to associate with. And a lot of it was realizing that I was hanging around the wrong types of people, and then that would affect my reality as well, because when you hang out with people that you also have to think for, they can put you in situations where it can be potentially dangerous for you. I won't get into too many details. I'll probably have a story time later or something like that for, what happened. But I had to cut off a lot of people, and sometimes I even had to like stop talking to the family sometimes, like here and there. But definitely minding your peace and protecting your peace is like essential, because you can get into moments where you're just like, oh, I'm missing out on this, I'm missing out on that, I haven't been out this place, or I haven't been, like, I used to go to raves a lot, but then I was thinking like, damn, I haven't been to a rave in a minute, I haven't been out. And I was thinking like, that energy that is usually there sometimes, it's like, I get there and I'm just as bored and I want to come home. So I just, but back to like just the energy, like you have to mind the energy that's there, and then kind of reading the room on the energy. Like a lot of the times, the people that I would go to these raves with, people that had a lot going on, and they were the problems in their own lives, and they didn't see that. So I was like, let me just shift, pivot, as my coworker would say. But yes, changing the people that you surround yourself with can definitely change your life and your energy in a major way. Like I saw this saying that was like, if you're the smartest in the room, then you're in the wrong room. So and that goes to people being kind of like going off of ego, like kind of wanting to be the smartest in the room. But like, if you think about it, if you are the smartest in the room, like why do you want to be? You should be wanting to learn from other people. I mean, I'm no one to say what you should and shouldn't do, but I would want to be learning from the people I'm around and not having to babysit the people that I'm around. There's also things you can do, like doing what you did as a kid and like to do as a kid can actually like heal your inner child and also raise your vibration. Because when you think about it, kids are just coming in from the other side. Their vibrations are already high. They're curious about the world. They have before any other trauma happens, hopefully it doesn't, but there's no like baggage, there's no emotional, distrust or anything like that. So the things you like to do as a kid is still inside of you as things that you like to do as an adult. So for instance, I like to read and write and talk about philosophy as a kid. And look at what I'm doing now. I'm going off of my notebook about things I just wrote about and just talking. I also like to draw, so I have a master's degree in multimedia design because I used to love watching music videos, and one music video in particular when I was like 3 was like More Than a Woman by Aaliyah, and Hype Williams like went crazy with that video. Like she was on the motorcycle, she was inside the motorcycle, it was so much going on. I was like, I want to do this when I'm older. So that's what made me get into graphic design, which made me go to college for it and all that. And then I'll have a whole nother video about that. But I have my master's in multimedia design, and I try to find myself trying to get back into like doing art, like hands-on art, because that's just what I like to do. Even though I am a digital design major, I just like to have my hands on things and all types of stuff. But doing things that you wanted to do as a kid, going back to that, because that can raise your vibration and get you back into the innocent mind state that happened before the corruption or before the desensitization. Also, being in nature. Like, I'm right out in my backyard. Like, you don't have to go too far. Even if you don't have a backyard, go to a tree and just hug it. Just be around nature. Because if you think about it, energy can't be created or destroyed. So it just goes in through different phases and changes and transfers through whatever. So these trees, just like Avatar, if you ever watch Avatar, house a lot of information and a lot of spiritual information, and even spirits themselves inside of the trees, the plants, the ground. For instance, the mycelium network under the ground pretty much is how mushrooms and trees communicate about environmental changes and nutrient deficits in certain parts of the soil for certain plants and animals to kind of migrate to another part of the soil and things like that. Or, hey, there's too many termites over here, it's going to fuck up your roots. So you might want to make your roots go out that way. Stuff like that. And also grounding. So that goes hand in hand with nature, like being in nature. So just like how there's outlets in your house that have like the little third prong thing, that third prong is for sending excess energy to the ground so you don't have a power surge in your house. So your body works the same way, whereas we have an electromagnetic field, and we're kind of like walking batteries, if you want to put it like that. So with all this power within us pretty much, and then all this energy coming from like our phones, radio waves, TV waves, Wi-Fi, you can't really avoid it if you want to be a person in society nowadays. But one way you can reverse the effects it has on your body is going outside and putting your feet into just grass or dirt and letting all that energy go down into the ground and dissipate. So then you just have your energy and what came from you and then what downloads to you from the universe. So, and a lot of that, like, you can also ground from the inside out. Like, for instance, I drink chlorophyll. Me and my boyfriend drink chlorophyll water. The same things that kind of make the leaves green. There's a dye in it. Not a dye, but it's a chemical in it called chlorophyll. And that's how photosynthesis, and I'll get into that too. Photosynthesis pretty much help with the whole chlorophyll production, but it also has a lot of benefits for your body too, including like deodorizing, changing, like if you have gray hairs and you want them to change back to black, you can do that. Also a good diuretic, alkalining your body, and pretty much kind of like being a good cleanser for your digestive system. Kind of just works very well, honestly. But I drink spring water. So I put chlorophyll in it. Sometimes I put maca root in it, and then chia seeds, and then I put like sometimes apple cider vinegar, like make a whole cocktail of just herbs and healthy things to drink. And so I also have like supplements that I take, like black cohosh, and I'll get into why I take black cohosh in a minute too. But that's just, things to do to like raise your vibration. Also, the next point I want to make is cleanliness is next to godliness. So when you're around, they say when your environment is cluttered, it kind of symbolizes a cluttered mind. So when your home is all in disarray, I'm not talking about like just like disorganized, but a kind of a controlled disorganized where you know where everything is, because that's how I am. So I know where everything is. It might look like chaos to somebody else, but it's my chaos. But there's also like, if it's just like, people get into like depression and they stop cleaning, they might not take care of themselves for a couple days or so. It can, once you do kind of get back into the like routine of self-care and the cleaning and stuff like that around your house, it feels like brand new. Like, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me it feels like just brand new, like a Christian went to church on Sunday and repented or something like that. So they say cleanliness is next to godliness, but they also, it's not just talking about your physical environment, it's talking about your spiritual well-being too, and your mind. Like, for instance, I think of my mind as like my dream house living room, like up in a penthouse, overseeing a city or some mountains or a beach or something like that. But within that, it's just cleanliness. And then if I see if I have a negative thought or something, I just see that as something I gotta just push out, of my mind, out of my space. Or I'm ruminating on something over and over. I kind of just like have myself physically or like mentally visualize myself cleaning my mental space like I'm cleaning my house. Another thing you can do is being kind to yourself and others. So like, not even just like, I'm not saying like lie and sugarcoat and blah, 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 blah. Speak your truth, of course, because that's how you strengthen your throat chakra. But also being kind to yourself and being gentle with yourself, because just like a kid needs like patience and love and kindness and compassion to learn things, we're all still learning and growing. So we're all going to still continue to need love and compassion and kindness to teach ourselves things. So be kind to yourself, be compassionate to yourself, let yourself make mistakes, but also let yourself learn from those mistakes. Don't repeat them, learn from them. There's also being kind to others, because if you ever heard of like the law of attraction and things like that, the energy that you put out will come back to you. Like if you throw a rock in a pond and you see the ripples going outwards, you put that positivity in the pond, it's going to ripple outwards. Because even if like you do a good deed for 10 people that day, and 9 out of those 10 don't do anything else for that day, but they feel a little better about whatever they're going through because somebody was nice to them, no matter what they were going through. And then that one person actually does something, is that person that's like, all right, I'm going to do something good for the next 20 people. Because this person just helped me out, I'm going to spread it to the next person and pass the blessing along. And that's how you put more good out into the world. And so it doesn't have to be some massive thing that you do. You don't have to be Oprah buying cars for everybody, but just doing one nice thing, even just making somebody smile, can make a lasting effect, because they can go ahead and be like, all right, I'm going to make somebody else smile today. And then that person can be like, I'm going to make somebody else smile today. And then you pass it on and on and on. So it is that. And then getting rid of the separation. So that goes back to like being kind to yourself and others, because it's free to, and then you are everyone else in a way too, because we're all just God or the universe, whatever you want to call it, the source energy. We're all that in different forms, getting a different perception on the universe. It's like the universe looking in on itself, basically, but it needed an avatar to do that. So we are, our bodies at least, are the avatar that can maneuver the world pretty much and experience the world, whether it be good experiences or bad experiences. So, and then good and bad are subjective to just what you believe in anyway. So, for instance, like, I mean, there's a lot of controversial takes with that, but for instance, like, nothing is inherently good or bad. It's just about the meaning that you place on it. So, that's it for this video. I'll catch y'all next time.